When comparing numbers, the most useful way to think about it is using the number line. There are three symbols that give different relationships based on the locations of the numbers relative to each other on the number line. The greater than symbol means to the right of, the equal sign means in the same place as, and the less than sign means to the left of. Example, write two mathematical sentences comparing the numbers 1 and 2/3 and 4 and 5/8. We will first plot these numbers on the number line. 1 and 2/3 is between 1 and 2, so we'll break it into 3 parts, and 1 and 2/3 is right here. 4 and 5/8 is between 4 and 5, so that interval needs to be cut into 8 parts. And 4 and 5/8 is the 5th mark. From here, we just need to read off the relationships. 1 and 2/3 is to the left of 4 and 5/8, so 1 and 2/3 is less than 4 and 5/8. And 4 and 5/8 is to the right of 1 and 2/3, so 4 and 5/8 is greater than 1 and 2/3. We drew this picture with subdivisions, but if we stop and think about it, we would see that these weren't even necessary. This is a helpful observation when it comes to numbers with larger denominators. Example, write two mathematical sentences comparing the numbers -3 and 32/65 and -5 and 151/696. Do not panic because of the larger denominators. Just think about the number line. We know that -3 and 32/65 is somewhere in between -3 and -4. And we know that -5 and 151/696 is somewhere in between -5 and -6. And by itself, this information is good enough for us to do the comparison. -5 and 151/696 is to the left of -3 and 32/65. And -3 and 32/65 is to the right of -5 and 151/696. We can sometimes do this even if both numbers lie between the same integers. For example, if we draw 1 and 1/3 and 1 and 6/7, then by our geometric intuition alone, we should be able to see that 1 and 6/7 is pretty close to 2, whereas 1 and 1/3 is further to the left. However, sometimes the fractions are just too close for us to accurately draw a picture to guide our answers. In these cases, we need to use a common denominator to allow us to compare the values. Example, write two mathematical sentences comparing the numbers 3/4 and 7/9. It's very unlikely that you will be able to draw this picture accurately without using a ruler. So instead, we will use algebra to help us compare them. What is the least common denominator of these two fractions? The answer to that question is 36. So we will rewrite each of these fractions using a denominator of 36. For the fraction 3/4, we need to multiply top and bottom by 9 to get 27 over 36. And for the fraction 7/9, we need to multiply top and bottom by 4, which gives 28/36. You should be able to recognize that 27/36 is to the left of 28/36, which means that 3/4 is to the left of 7/9. And if we turn this inequality around, we will get that 7/9 is to the right of 3/4. When thinking about the picture, you should be able to recognize that 27/36 is to the left of 28/36, since 27 is to the left of 28. Example, determine the symbol that makes the following statement true. -1 and 5/7 box -1 and 5/8. We can rewrite the fraction part of a mixed number without changing the integer part. The least common denominator of these fractions is 56. To rewrite -1 and 5/7 with the denominator of 56, we need to multiply top and bottom of the fraction by 8. And that gives us -1 and 40/56. For the fraction -1 and 5/8, we need to multiply top and bottom by 7. This gives -1 and 35/56. And now we need to think about the picture. Negative 40 is to the left of negative 35, so negative 1 and 40/56 is to the left of negative 1 and 35/56. This means negative 1 and 5/7 is to the left of negative 1 and 5/8, which means that negative 1 and 5/7 is less than negative 1 and 5/8. In every problem, you will be able to use a common denominator to make the comparison. However, it is not always the easiest or fastest method. In your homework, try to use your geometric intuition first, and then resort to using a common denominator if you can't do it from there.